Alrighty, so a while back I made a video going over my personal modifier setup for the Hotel Hell badge in Roblox stores. However, although I still do think that setup is decent, there are some things about it I don't like. For one, the locked and loaded modifier, which increases locked room spawns, I found particularly annoying and time consuming. Additionally, having to choose between having A90 or snare spawn is quite horrendous, seeing how both of those traits are unfavorable. So today, I've come up with an even better, more refined modifier setup for the Hotel Hell badge, and today I'll be sharing it as well as a few tips on how to handle certain aspects of it with all of you viewers. With all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so the first major change I added to the setup was the really bad time modifier. Now, although this sounds like a terrible pick at first, let me explain. This modifier will make it so more rooms will spawn entities, and this most commonly affects rush and ambush. During my winning playthrough with this setup, the extra entities weren't really an issue, and I was comfortably able to avoid all of them. Additionally, this modifier doesn't necessarily stall the run for too long, unlike something like locked and loaded, so I believe it is good to use. Moving on, the next change I implemented into my setup was the I'm running here modifier. This one will make it so Rush travels extremely quickly, meaning his audio cue can no longer inform you on how far away he is. Now, at first I was quite unskilled with handling this modifier, as I will admit, it is quite tricky. However, I did come up with a reliable solution for easily avoiding the speed-boosted Rush. You see, as soon as the lights flicker, which indicate that Rush spawned, you want to immediately get into a closet. This will guarantee you to be safe all the time. That is, unless you have the Rent Stew modifier enabled, so I highly recommend you don't choose that. Now, as for Rush in the greenhouse, it is a lot more tricky to determine when he spawns, so I recommend you just hang by closets for a little just in case Rush comes. Furthermore, the next change I made to the setup was adding the Think Faster modifier. This one makes it so Screech will appear more and attack faster. Now, during the run, you won't encounter many dark rooms, with the exception being room 61 and all the greenhouse rooms. So whenever you are in a dark room, just constantly look around for Screech as they will appear frequently. Additionally, whenever Screech spawns on your screen, it will shake a little. So, if you notice this screen shake, make sure you check for Screech, as that is a visual cue that they are present. Now, although those are the major changes I made to this modifier setup, I want to go over how to handle some of the other trickier aspects of it, starting with Ambush. You see, these modifiers will make it so Ambush will spawn more often, and they will move at quicker speeds. To combat this, simply hide in a closet the moment you hear their audio cue, and once they pass by, immediately get out and back in the closet. You will want to repeat this until Ambush is done attacking, and it works every time. As for the other modified entities, treat them as normal. You can basically avoid the modified version of Halt by treating it the same way you avoid normal Halt. As for Dupe, they will spawn a lot more, so just pay attention to the door number or record your playthrough, so if you ever forget what room you're in, you can always look back at the footage. For Seek, just make sure you don't mess up at all during his chase sequences and you'll be fine. Lastly, I recommend you look downwards whenever you open a new room in case Ice spawns. Anyways, that is basically all I wanted to say about my new best modifier setup for Hotel Hell and Roblox stores. Let me know in the comments how it works for you. With all of that being said, thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoyed.